Let me show you what I did to increase the width of my shoulders using only 2 exercises. If you have narrow shoulders right now, it really does suck because it makes you look more feminine. There's a reason why there's studies showing that women like a good shoulder to waist ratio, and that's because it's a masculine trait that shows maturity and strength. As an example, here's a picture of me in my teenage years. I think I was somewhere between 14 to 16 in this picture. I honestly can't remember, and I don't know why I'm making that face, but it's pretty funny. Um, I do have a decent amount of muscle. I wasn't like super fat or anything, but I'm pretty skinny. My shoulders are not really developed in this picture. They're pretty narrow, they're pretty slight. Here's another picture of me now, and this is after me implementing what I'm about to show you in this video. Okay, so you can see that there's a pretty big difference here. Now, obviously in my younger picture, I was still a teenager. I wasn't a full grown man like I am now in my 20s, but you can still see kind of a difference there, and you can kind of see if you're in your teens right now, where you could potentially end up in your 20s if you follow through with that I'm going to show you in this video. So there is like a million different exercises you can try for every muscle group these days, right? There's new ones being made up. I've tried so many of them, and these are the two that worked best for me. I do look at like what the science says, but I take that and test it with my own body to see if it actually works, because you're not going to be the same as everyone else. So these 2 exercises definitely help me grow my shoulders, and it works best for me. And if you're someone like me, it'll probably work for you too. And that's a big reason I make these videos, is that you can save time. You don't have to go researching and spending years doing what I've done. So the first one is dumbbell lateral raise. Now, you may have expected that I was going to say that, in which case that's good. You've done some research. You know that that's one of the best things that you can do for your side delts. There's one thing that I differ though, in terms of probably other videos that you've seen in terms of recommending this. And that is, I found that it works best for me when I'm doing the dumbbell lateral raises if I do it heavy. Now, everyone will tell you do it lightweight, go, do like 15 reps, do 20 reps. But for me, what I've honestly found to work the best is doing heavy sets. So for me, what I like to do is, I stick anywhere between, maybe 6 to 10 or 8 to 12. I stay within that range. Typically under 12, and typically around 10 is when I up the weight. Like around 10 or 12 reps, I will up the weight. And the reason for that is I found that it really helps stimulate my side delts like nothing else. Another great benefit of doing it heavy is that if you're doing heavy side lateral raises, you're also recruiting in your traps. Now, this is part of why people tell you don't do lateral raises heavy, because you might injure your shoulders, or you're going to be recruiting other muscles and it's not going to be targeting your side delts. Now, this is kind of true because you are going to be recruiting in more of your traps into this movement if you're going to be going heavy. What I found though is that that's actually a good thing. If you're intentional about it, you can kind of turn it into a compound movement where you're training your traps alongside your side delts at the same time. So not only will this save you time because you don't have to do a isolated exercise for your traps, but it will also make it so that as you're growing your side delts, you're also growing your traps at the same time, and so they tend to be more symmetrical. So stick with dumbbell lateral raises, make sure you're doing them with good form, but try to stay heavy enough to where you're only hitting around 10 to 12 reps and then move up. When you move up though, take it slow. Only do 2.5 to 5 pounds max. Probably only 2.5 pounds, because you're probably not going to be able to lift another 5 pounds. If you're struggling with this, you could go up to 15. But like I said, I like to keep it on that heavier side in lower reps. And you're going to see another reason why in a second. So before we move on to talking about the second exercise, I need to let you know that there's going to be some key things you need to do after you know what the other exercise is. So do not leave this video, because if you don't understand the rest of this, it's not going to work as well in terms of growing your shoulders. So don't comment down below and be like, bro, my shoulders aren't growing. What the hell? Your advice sucks, because you haven't watched the whole video, okay? All right, so the second exercise is going to be behind the body cable lateral raises. So that's a long ass name, but essentially what it is it's behind your body, and you're essentially going to be stepping forward a little bit, stepping to the side a little bit, raising up that cable slightly. And the great thing about cables with your side delts and just your shoulders in general is that, unlike with the dumbbells, it's constant tension. And that's what's so great about the behind the body lateral raise, is because you're essentially keeping tension all the way up and all the way down. Even in the resting position, you still have tension on the delt. So this is the great thing about, like, with your shoulder training, is if you incorporate cables, now you have the heavy dumbbells, right, which is great for really kind of pushing your shoulders to the max. And then on top of it, you've got the behind the body cable lateral raises, which keep constant tension. Now with these, I do go light. I like to go lightweight, and with each shoulder, I like to be getting around, anywhere from 15 to 20 reps. So you can kind of see what we're doing here. We've got a really heavy heavy few sets with the dumbbell raises, and then we're moving on to a very lightweight, high volume cables, which are going is actually, even though it's lightweight, bro, the cables, since it's constant tension, is really going to be putting a burn on your shoulders, especially after just doing the dumbbells. And I always find when I go heavy and then I go lightweight and do volume, I just get an amazing pump and connection. So give those two a try and see if that works. Now, remember, there's some other things that you need to know about this in order for it to take full effect. So one of the key things is you need to make sure that you're actually doing this twice per week, right? Muscle groups need to be trained twice per week. Anything you really want to grow or see an improvement on, be hitting it at least twice per week, bro. This isn't like super complicated, but make sure you're doing that. It's also really important to remember that even though I'm not going to cover it in this video, you need to be making sure you put focus as well on your front delts and your rear delts, because if you want that nice 3D look, you're going to have to actually focus in on those too. But I'm not going to get into that in this video because it'd make it too long. We're just talking about the side delts today. I'll make another video on that in the future if you want it. Okay, so really important here, really important. You've got the two exercises down. Over time, you'll get the form down, right? I can't really like show you in this video exactly, but just try to copy what I did or look shit up on the internet and you'll kind of figure it out. Anyways, you need to be doing those, but what you need to make sure that you're also doing is you need to be actually eating in a calorie surplus. You either need to be in a calorie surplus or you're in your recomp phase. So if you just started at the gym, right? If you just got into the gym now and you're kind of overweight, right? Or you have some extra fat, maybe you're skinny fat, maybe you're just overweight. Yes, this could work for you. You could grow your shoulders. If you're really skinny right now, this is not going to work for you. You're not going to see a huge growth in your shoulders just by doing this because you're not eating enough yet. So you need to make sure right now you're either in a bulk or you need to make sure that you're doing some sort of maintenance or recomp phase where you have extra fat that can be used as energy. If you're in a cut right now, or you're just really skinny, or you just don't have really a lot of energy, your body's not going to be able to actually utilize this to grow. You may see a slight improvement as you're cutting because your shoulders are looking more defined, but you're not actually growing them in terms of the measurement, right? The measurement isn't going to actually increase in terms of the width. So you need to make sure that if you want to increase the width, you need to grow, and you do that by eating in a calorie surplus, or if you're a noob and you're just getting into the gym, you do that because you have some extra fat on you and you're going through a recomposition phase or maintenance phase. On top of that, do not forget you need to be eating an adequate amount of protein if you want to build muscle. You can go with the easy 1 gram per pound if you want to, but really, even if you're eating, 0.8 grams per pound, it's fine. Anytime you're eating a decent amount of protein, it's fine. You don't need to nerd out about it. Just try to be getting in the right amount every single day, a good amount every single day. Do this twice per week. Train your shoulders twice per week with this protocol, these 2 exercises. Focus on those for just now. I've done so many different ones, bro. I've done the Egyptians, I've done, the Arnold presses, I've done so many different shoulder exercises, and these 2 really do seem to work the best for the side delts and actually creating that width that you want. So just stick with these for now, see if it works for your body, and if it does, then great. If not, you can try something else. So train twice per week following this protocol, and make sure that you're actually getting enough rest in between those days, right? Don't be doing them back to back. Spread it out. Give yourself at least 48 hours to actually rest. And don't forget to be getting good sleep. Good sleep is crucial to your muscles recovering. 9 hours, 8 hours, 7 hours, it doesn't freaking matter. Whatever works for you, whatever actually feels like you're rested and ready to go the next day, do that and do it consistently so that your muscles are being repaired. Because when we're sleeping and resting and in that deep sleep, that's when the repair and that's when the growth really happens.